It's Wendy Wainwright, the Hollywood talent manager. And I've just been watching this show called Uber on one of our streaming services. And it's making me think a lot about why I do what I'm doing. I'm watching this guy who's got this obsession to change the space of how people get around. And it's an obsession he's willing to die for, he's willing to do anything for. And I don't know how it's going to turn out because I'm in episode 3 out of maybe 6 or 8 episodes. But what I understand is the desire to change a space because you don't like what you see. And I tell you, the reason I started doing all of the things that I do, teaching here on YouTube, talking to you guys, starting the TMFA, starting the TMFA Live, starting Hollywood Winter Circle Academy. All of this is to prevent you guys from getting taken advantage of. Because there are people who are just as hungry to take advantage of you as there are people who don't want to see that happen. There are companies, and it reminds me, when I see his vision, it reminds me why I even started this in the first place. I attended these showcases, right? When I was managing, $5,000 for actors to attend. And I know what happens at those places because I've been invited and I've attended. So there's one company that charges $5,000 for you to attend. There's another company that charges $10,000 for you to attend. I asked those people while I was at those events how much they were getting out of it. And I learned that they're not even allowed to hear the word actors access in the training programs that they offer. You're not even allowed to, you can't even be told about backstage or actors access in their training programs. Yet that is one of the most important platforms you should ever be on as an actor at this time. There's so much I want to say about this, but when you attend one of those events and you pay $5,000 or $10,000, right? They don't care about your career. They don't care about your acting career. They don't care about your dreams. And they don't want to see you become a successful working actor. That's not what they're in the business of doing. They're in the business of selling $5,000 seats and $10,000 seats at their fake extravaganza that's held at a hotel. And I don't mind that things are held at hotels. All businesses hold their conventions at hotels. What I don't like is the fanfare that they make it seem like it's more than it is. You don't need a dance. You don't need a big party. You don't need to prance around in front of 100 agents and hope that you are going to get lucky enough to get a call back. Because what you don't understand is at the callback, they're looking for qualified, trained, experienced people. And the training that these companies offer don't make you qualified, trained, or experienced. So what they do is they place these radio ads everywhere. They bring all these people down to the hotel ballroom and they ask you to audition. And they say, make sure you bring your checkbook and make sure you bring both parents or whoever's the deciding person. And then they have you audition. And then they tell you they'll let you know. And then they call you the next day and tell you, oh my God, you're in. You got in. It's a miracle, but you must be so talented. So now what we want to do is we want to give you these classes for 12 weeks on acting, which really doesn't teach you how to be a competitive actor in the fucking slightest. And then you're going to come to their event where you're going to present yourself in front of agents and managers. Now, we're going to include headshots in this package. I've seen those headshots and they suck. I've called those places and I've said, why don't you just hire real LA photographers or New York photographers to shoot headshots at these events so that at least they have good headshots? Because what happens when an agent or manager signs you, we have to have you shoot them all again because their headshots suck. All right, there's that. You go to the event, there's all these, flashy lights and red carpets and dinners and who cares? This is not what showbiz, this is not what actors have to be good at. Showing up at false events. You have to be good at acting. You want to be on television or film? You need to be a fucking great actor. And these places don't make you a great actor. They're selling you a load of crap. And they're selling you for $10,000 the dream that somehow you're going to get discovered and you're going to somehow end up on television. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. So you get to this event, right? There are some people that are extraordinary and they stand out. 1%. Okay, so out of 1,000 people, a fraction, 1%. There's a few people that are like, oh my God, thank God we found them. They're amazing. Everybody else is not ready to be there. Not ready to be there. They don't have the training. They don't have the experience. They haven't done theater. They've never done a student film, a short film, a web series. They have never done commercials. They've never gone on auditions. They haven't submitted themselves for anything ever. Why would an agent or manager be interested in you? If that's who you are, why would we care? And that's what you guys need to understand. These places don't care about you or your career. If we decide to go to these events and call back people, they ask us to call back as many people as we can. Now, I remember I was at an event once and I had 5 callbacks and they were like, why don't you have any more? I said, because there was nobody here good enough for me to call back. Well, we would really appreciate if you would give more callbacks. That's just looks better for everyone. And blah, blah. And I thought, wow, you just want us all to give callbacks even though we don't really want to see these people. Got it. That's how they get these people to come back year after year after year, because they keep giving all these callbacks to make it seem like you're getting progress in your career when you're not. A callback is not progress in your career. It's useless, okay? It's useless. Even if they sign you, and some of these companies say, look, we would really prefer if you'd sign some of these people. That's good for business, blah, blah, blah. I'm not signing anyone who's not good enough to be signed. But there are companies that show up at these places that have agreements with them to sign them, whether they're good enough or not, just because they're in the pocket of these companies. Remember, these companies fly agents and managers out to their events, put them up in hotels for a week, pay for their food, all their meals, their drinks, all of the entertainment that they give the agents and managers. And believe me, there's a green suite where they have games and karaoke and they're drinking. I've been in these rooms. Sure, it's a big fun time. The agents and managers get to collaborate with each other. They get to network and schmooze, and there's casting directors there, and all the friends are seeing each other, and it's like a reunion at your expense. Why does this bother me so much? Well, you better be glad it bothers somebody. I've said to agents for years now, stop going to those fucking things. Because when you show up at them, you're giving all of these actors and singers and people false hope. Instead of teaching them how to really build an acting career, you're wasting their time. You're wasting $5,000 of their hard-earned money, $10,000 of their hard-earned money on a pipe dream when you don't even really want to sign them. If you have gone to these showcases, put your experiences in the chat below, down underneath this video, because I know so many of you have fallen for this gimmick. Just because a couple of people get signed out of these events and become successful does not mean 99% of the people do. Because you're not being taught what you really need to be taught. You need acting training, and not from these showcase companies and their little stupid programs that don't work. You need real solid acting training from like some of the best. And I'll tell you right in this video, Margie Haber Studios, Howard Fine, Ivana Chubbuck, Sherry Shaw, Hood School of Acting, Drama Inc., Anthony Mindell, there's just so many strong and wonderful acting coaches. James Ciccone, Darren Warren. I could go on with a list of it. And if you join if you're part of my free Facebook group, Talent Managers for Actors, where we give you free information and don't want anything from you, you could ask those questions. Who are the best trainers in Atlanta? Who are the best trainers in New York? Who are the best trainers in Los Angeles? You can use the search function and you can find out. You can see free acting classes on Tuesdays. You shouldn't be paying showcase companies for acting training because it's not. It's not acting training. You need on-camera classes. You need real scene study. You need to learn either Uta Hagen, Stanford Meisner, Stanislavski, or Stella Adler. You need a real technique because the people on television know how to act. Not because they went to these stupid showcase companies, but because they invested their time, energy, and money into real acting classes, right? The other thing you need to know is just because an agent or manager signs you does not mean you're marketable. Okay, that's just a contract. You're signed. But that doesn't mean you have great headshots. That doesn't mean you know how to represent your type. That doesn't mean you have actors access and you know how to fill it out. That doesn't mean you have good acting clips or you have great demo reels. It means none of that. And agents and managers that sign you from these things are too busy to teach you how to get that stuff. So if you're one of those actors out there that's attended one of these events, they signed you and you got nowhere, which is most of them, feel free to talk about it down below because I'd love to talk to you. I know you guys are wasting tens of thousands of dollars on the wrong things. So here I am on a Saturday night at midnight. That's when I'm recording this video. Pissed off that these companies are taking advantage of actors yet again. And why does it even come up? Because last week I did my ABCs of Show Business class. It's a 3-hour intensive and I go over all the stuff they don't teach you at these places. And there was a guy who had come into my class who was from, I can say it, John Robert Powers. He was an instructor at John Robert Powers. He identified himself as one. Then he showed me his screen and showed me all of the coaches and some of their private information and told me, again, I heard from him directly, which I've heard before, they are not even allowed to mention the word Actors Access in their training programs. How are you going to submit yourself for all of those? Listen, if you don't know what Actors Access is, it's a platform where you get to upload your headshots, your acting clips, and your resume and submit yourself for a shit ton of projects that will help you build your resume. But getting auditions for those and then booking them takes being a good actor. And if these companies aren't even going to tell you about that, they're causing you to rely on them. You shouldn't be relying on any of those places. You should not be relying on those places. It's the whole reason that I started Hollywood Winner's Circle Academy. I looked at the whole game and I said I would rather actors spend money with me than waste their money over there and get nothing. And I'm going to charge them so fucking little that it's going to be a no-brainer for them to come train with me instead of wasting $10,000 over there. And because of that, we've trained almost 4,700 actors, and they know exactly what they need to do. They have great headshots. They know how to audition. They know how to put themselves on tape, and it looks professional. They know how to have a great Actors Access platform. It's marketable. Agents and managers can actually use it to get auditions. They know how to build their casting networks profiles. They know how to build their social media. It makes me so grateful to be able to help actors in this way. There are people that are never going to want to learn how to really become an actor because they're too scared. They don't want to fail. They're afraid to be successful. And so they're always going to talk about doing it, but never really do it. And then there are people that want it so bad that they're willing to go pay $10,000 to the wrong thing. I am begging you not to spend your money at these places. There are some very important books you could read that would help you tremendously. There's one called Self-Management for the Actor. It's by Bonnie Gillespie, and she used to be a casting director. In fact, she might still do casting. I wrote a book called How to Be a Star Right Where You Are, because you need to start in the state you're in. You don't need to move to New York. You don't need to move to Atlanta. You don't need to move to Los Angeles. You need to learn how to act right from your home state, right? You can train with the best coaches in the world online on Zoom. And if you think that that's not helpful, you're hearing what I'm saying right here. We are communicating. It's the same thing when you're taking a class and you're online, right? My nose tickles. You know when I get excited. It's like the same thing. If they give you a scene, a great coach gives you a scene and then teaches you how to break that scene down, right? Like this in a conversation on Zoom or online. And then you work on that scene and then you show them what you did and then they give you some redirection and they help you see it better. And then you do it again and then you do it again. You can learn so much if you train with the right people. I highly recommend that you don't look for acting classes at your community college. That you spend your money with the best coaches you possibly can find. I'm talking getting real professional LA level, Atlanta, New York level training, even if you're in Kansas, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Maine, Alaska, doesn't matter. You've got to become a great actor. And then you've got to become a great auditioner. And once you've learned to be a great actor, then you need to put that on tape and put those clips up on your Actors Access and your Casting Network's platforms and submit yourself like crazy for everything you're right for and learn how to book jobs. And once you've built a resume and great clips and headshots and you know how to act, then and only then can an agent or manager help you build an acting career. Until then, there are people far more trained than you are, that are far more prepared, that have better clips, better training, and better resumes. So if you want to compete with people at the professional level to get on television and film, I hope you listen carefully to what I'm saying. I hope you'll consider not spending your money at John Robert Powers or iPop or IMTA or any of these places I've been to that do not teach actors how to act. And instead just waste your money and give you false promises and never teach you how to really build an acting career. Avoid those. And I hope this is helpful.